This is going to be my Season 8 Ekko guide. This is going to cover a couple room pages, starting items, a couple of builds, and some combos to try and help you learn the champion. Hope you enjoy. Okay, this is the first room page on Ekko. This is a pretty good room page for a starting Ekko because Electrocute really helps assassinate squishy champions in the late game. The only thing I don't really like about this room page is that it's really hard to incorporate the ultimate hat, especially with Gathering Storm and Transcendence being better than the ultimate hat. And it still obviously works very good on Ekko. But I do think Phase Rush is a little better than Electrocute here. But I do think that Electrocute is very good for the starting Ekko player, and I do think this is the better room page if you're first learning the champion. This is the room page I usually use on Ekko. I like this one a lot better than the first one, mostly because Phase Rush really helps with early trades, and it really helps you escape the return damage after trades. And this one also incorporates, all three of the secondary runes, the Ultimate Hat, Transcendence, and Gathering Storm work really well in Ekko, especially helping him scale to the late game. And then it still has the good parts of Domination with Sudden Impact and Ravenous Hunter, helping with healing and getting more damage after your E. So I think if you're an experienced Ekko player, this is better because you'll know how to assassinate those squishies late game, and it shouldn't be much of a problem. I personally enjoy this one more. The starting items on Ekko are like most AP champions, with like a Doran's Ring, Darksteel Corrupting Pot if your lane is really difficult and you need the survivability. But usually you're going to be going with the Doran's Ring because it just really helps with the mana consumption. These are the main builds that I use on Ekko. The first one you're going to be using a lot more than the second one because usually you won't be going up against a really heavy AP comp, so the Banshee Veil isn't really necessary. But when you are against a really heavy AP comp, it really helps to help with survivability in team fights and even in lane. With boots, it's really up to the team comp, what their team comp is. I usually go for the Merc Treads because of the tenacity and magic resist really helps in team fights, and you're able to get your ult off without getting CC chained. As for Tabby, when they do have an AD mid, I will usually build Tabby, or if their AD champions on their team are very strong, or there are a lot of them. But your normal build path is going to be Protobelt, Witchbane, Hourglass, Voidstaff, Deathcap in that order, and fill in boots whenever it's appropriate. And then when against an AD matchup like Zed or Talon, I do usually go for the Seeker's Arm Guard first to help survive the lane. In total, this build will give you around 30% CDR, which will be filled by the Transcendence rune, so it won't be much of a big deal. Okay, so this first combo is your bread and butter, just E plus Q to cancel out the Q animation. You're going to be using this the most, so I would put the most time and effort into this one. Okay, so this combo is basically the same as the last combo, but this one just adds Protobelt into it. Now, the reason I Protobelt after the blink on the E is to have your second Q be able to hit your enemies a lot easier, and if they're running away, all the bolts will hit them, so you'll get a lot of added damage from this. A lot of people like to Protobelt on the initial cast of the E. Personally, I don't like to do that. I feel it's like less damage if they're running away, and you don't get your Q off, so this is just the way that I like to do it. Okay, so this is a combo you're going to want to know. Not a big deal because you're not going to use it very much. Still useful to know. It's just E plus W canceling your W animation. This is really useful if you're getting chased and you have to run away, but otherwise it's not too beneficial all the time. This one really isn't a combo, but this one's more for just situations. If you have your Q up and you need to ult, it's always better to throw your Q as long as you can get it off without dying, because it's just added damage, added stacks to your passive. It's just better overall, so I highly suggest using it. This one also isn't much of a combo, but more like a tip. If you're ever against a champion, this one being Diana shown on screen, that can jump to you, and you have your ult up, it's better to ult it, especially if you guys are both low, like the ult the dash, so that way you avoid the dash damage while still applying the damage to them, usually winning you the fight.